Welcome back. Let's continue the discussion on the Electoral Offences Commission that INEC is seeking to establish now through the National Assembly, and now being joined on the program by Libros Oshoma, who is a lawyer and a public affairs analyst. Libros, thank you very much for coming on the program. You know of the ongoing debate, especially between INEC and the EFCC. The EFCC completely opposing the idea of creating a separate commission, something like an INEC police now, saying, look, this is a responsibility that other security agencies, including the police, the EFCC, should be able to carry out. That it would simply amount to duplication of functions if you create that Electoral Offences Commission or so. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it is laughable, really, that EFCC is opposing INEC in the creation of a special Electoral Offences Commission. The same way the police opposed the creation of EFCC, that it simply amounted to a duplication of the office of the police. At the end of the day, even when EFCC was created, you still had the same Nigerian members of the Nigerian police carrying out its major functions until, the recent appointment. All the people that have headed the FCC were either serving or retired police officers. So, but be that as it may, the Electoral Act, from section 123, 124, 125, 126, and 127 spells out various offenses, and specifically section 145 sub 2 empowers INEC to prosecute those offenses. Even though it gave INEC power to prosecute, the prosecution shall be carried out by officers of the commission. But I think what the commission has failed to do in most cases is that the commission, after every election, sets aside budget to defend its action at the poll in the form of election petition cases, but also do not set aside funds to prosecute even electoral offenses that have been committed. Maybe the excuse of the commission would be that some of these electoral offenses were not investigated by them, and if they were investigated, it would be easier to prosecute. But the police also have argued that in some cases, some of these accused persons have been investigated and handed over INEC, in some cases, even INEC officials, but at the end, nothing conclusive came out of it. But if you look at it on the flip side, truly, if the laws are not properly tidied up, it is going to overlap, the other security agencies, like the case of the EFCC having to investigate financial crimes. And, cases of INEC also, political manipulations and inducement, in most cases, had to do with financial inducement, yes, financial crime. So where they are overlapping, if the laws are not properly tidied up, you're going to have crisis, a situation where INEC will insist that it is their responsibility to investigate. The FCC will also insist that it is their responsibility to investigate. But by and large, like I said, Section 145 clearly empowers INEC to prosecute offenses committed under the Act.
Very good. And let me ask you the next question from that point. If the Electoral Act actually empowers INEC to prosecute, people for electoral offenses, so why is INEC not doing so? Does INEC actually need a special commission that it is asking for now to do that job?
That's where the challenge is. Like I said, INEC had argued that the reason why they have not been able to do that job is because of lack of funds. But in the same vein, you would say that INEC set aside a special budget to defend the election petitions and pre-election matters. So why don't you also, in the same vein, set up another budget to prosecute electoral offenders? But I think in all of this, what basically is lacking is the willpower to prosecute electoral offenders, because it must not be. We are here also arguing that the powers of of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commissions are too enormous, concentrated in the arm of one agency, and that there's need to decentralize the investigator from the asset manager and then from the prosecutor. But here you are again in another breath saying we need one commission that will investigate electoral offenses and prosecute electoral offenses. So when we complain on one side, rather than rectify that default, we'll create another default using another commission. So I think that what we should be doing really, it is to ensure that all of our prosecuting and investigating agencies are truly strengthened and empowered to look at all matters involving crime committed that are within their domains and jurisdiction, whether electoral fraud because it overlaps that has to do with finances, or whether electoral electoral offenses that are committed that have to do with assault and the rest. You have the police. If they are properly strengthened, the police can investigate all of those and submit reports to INEC. And if both agencies are working, in collaborations, I do not see any problem here because it has worked in other society. But, this idea of creating special courts, special tribunals, special agencies to carry out specific functions, at the end of the day, if care is not taken, we're going to have, special courts we already have special court to try electoral offenses because of the speed of the matter. We're going to have, everybody will ask for a special court to try matters that had to do with, we have said let's even create special court for criminal matters. So why don't INEC? I think INEC can start by establishing a department, an arm of the legal department that would deal with electoral offenses, just like the court have, through practice direction, segmented the court into various divisions.
And can it do so with the current electoral? Does the current Electoral Act empowers it to do so? Does it empower it, to do so?
DEJI, permit me quickly to read section 45 for you, so that people will understand what we're talking about. An offense committed under this act shall be triable in a magistrate court or a high court of a state in which the offense is committed, or the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. A prosecution under this act shall be undertaken by legal officers of the commission or any legal practitioner appointed by it. That's, in this case, appointed by the commission. So in this case, the law has already empowered it. An offense committed under this act. So any offense committed under the Electoral Act shall, not will, not may, shall, it's compulsion, be triable in a magistrate court, and this prosecution shall be undertaken by a legal officer of the commission or legal officers appointed by the commission. So the law is explicit. The law is very clear in that regard. So what the commission now needs to do is to ensure that they set up a special department that will liaise with the prosecuting, with the investigating officer to ensure, just like you have Minister of Justice, you have the police liaising with the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice is not saying, let us create a special arm of the ministry to begin to investigate crime by ourselves. The Minister of Justice, the police investigate, they send the file to them, they review the file. If they need further facts, further evidence, they will request for further evidence and say, look, we do not have enough evidence to prosecute this matter. We need further. I think that's what INEC should be doing. This idea of duplicating commissions, you do not have money to prosecute your mandate. Now you're creating another agency. You're further depleting. You will now want to further deplete the finances that are not there. So I do not think this is what we need at this time. What we need is the willpower. Already, we see how INEC firm out briefs to senior advocates, senior lawyers, and I've been beneficiary of some of those briefs. So why can't you also in the same vein?
And those briefs are usually about going to defend elections, defend elections, yes, but not prosecute election offenders.
Not prosecute election offenders. It's about defending actions of INEC, the actions of the political party, and then also INEC become nominal party in most of the pre-election matters that where there is an order against INEC not to recognize a particular candidate. So if after the political parties violate, the provisions of the law, and INEC has investigated and they discover that there are issues of violation, INEC can take, and that the offenses are committed, contrary to the provisions of the Act, INEC can collaborate with the police, ensure that a detailed investigation is carried out, and then the report is submitted to INEC for prosecution, and then firm out these briefs to the same senior advocate or to some of us to prosecute. And, even the EFCC that we're talking about, EFCC also firms out briefs to private lawyers to prosecute. So even if you set up this commission at the end, you're still going to get lawyers to prosecute this matter. So we already have an arm of the police, an arm of security agencies, Nigerian police, that is empowered. If you remember the bribery allegation against INEC officials in Rivers State, was it 2015? Yes. The former CP of at the fraud division in Alagbon, CP Okoro, investigated that matter thoroughly, and it was commended by both the state government and the Nigerian police. So, and even INEC. So, if all of this consistent synergy and collaboration is encouraged, I do not think we need a special court to begin, or a special commission to begin to investigate and prosecute electoral offenders. What we need, the law is already there. What we need is the willpower to ensure that this law already in place is implemented. Otherwise, if you set up a special commission, it's going to create employment for the boys. And yet, at the end, some persons will use it as a witch hunting mechanism or techniques. And then we'll begin to call for the dissolution of the powers of the commission, that it has enormous powers, and that the powers are too enormous, and that there's need to checkmate the powers of such commission. There are too many commissions doing the same job, and it is not healthy.
Liberal Soshoma, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for your insights.
My pleasure.
Thank you so very much. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.